Hey everyone, right now in my possession I have two small luxury sedans. In front here is a 2020 Cadillac CT4 and just behind it is a 2020 Mercedes-Benz A220. Now, they both sticker for around $48,000, but they're pretty different from one another. The CT4 is built on a rear-wheel drive biased platform. It shares its platform with the current generation Camaro, and the A220 is built on a front-wheel drive platform. Now, that said, both of these vehicles come equipped with all-wheel drive, but those different platforms mean they have significantly different driving characteristics. The CT4 is a little more powerful than the A220, and it's a little bigger, but on the other hand, the A220 wears a sharper, more upscale design. Anyway though, I thought this would present an interesting opportunity to show the differences in interior design between Cadillac and Mercedes-Benz. In my personal opinion, Mercedes-Benz is crushing it these days, while Cadillac has fallen pretty far behind. So here's the Cadillac. Right away we'll notice differences with the door handles. So both cars offer passive keyless entry. I have both cars' keys in my pocket here, but the Cadillac uses a button, lock, unlock, whereas the Mercedes-Benz door handle is touch sensitive. So I just touch it and then grab it gently enough and it unlocks. Moving on to the Cadillac's interior. So you can see this thing kind of feels like a Chevrolet inside. There's a lot of black plastic. Paddle shifters you see are black plastic. Infotainment screen is kind of small. You've got your volume knob right here. Controls for controlling the center infotainment screen are on the center console here, but you've also got touch controls as well. Dashboard, that is attempting to be soft touch, but it's kind of like a hard touch vinyl or hard leather. It's not really soft, hard, somewhat soft, but feels a little bit rough to the touch. I like the color of this interior, perforated leather, Bose audio. Speaker grates are pretty nice. The steering wheel is mostly black plastic. This is wrapped in leather, but the buttons here are black plastic and it's a matte finish. As for the door panel, this isn't a real rubbery surface. It's like a vinyl or leather wrapped in foam, wrapped around a plastic surface. This is pretty much hard plastic right here. And then this is a nicer leather. It matches the seats. Not the cushiest, but this is probably the nicest surface on this entire door. Infotainment interface feels a little dated. Colors are somewhat unbecoming of a luxury vehicle. So you can control it down here. It's fairly intuitive. Cycle through your different apps or different pages there. Got your navigation directions and then radio station here. Gauge cluster uses mechanical gauges with a screen in the middle. There is a heads-up display. Check out the back seat. So back seat is kind of tight. I think this car has 33.4 inches of second row legroom, and that's all dependent really upon where the seat is positioned. But more perforated leather back here. This leather's nice. This vehicle is pretty small. I am 5'10", 5'11" inches, and I would not be very comfortable if I had to ride back here with the seat in this position. Oh, and the child locks are on, so it looks like I'm gonna be climbing through front seat. Okay. Another thing you'll notice, no sunroof. As for the A220, so the door feels a little bit more substantial than it does on the Cadillac. You hop in here, and this interior is super modern. It mixes minimalism with just the right amount of buttons. So the infotainment system and the gauge cluster all reside in this single panel here. This is very cohesive with the rest of Mercedes-Benz design language. You'll find this dashboard layout in pretty much every one of their modern vehicles. Center air vents are pretty sharp too. They've got LED lighting in them, as does the rest of the car. That's kind of a love it or hate it feature, but it's something. Air vents are very aviation-esque in my eyes. Infotainment system, again, is touchscreen, just like it is in the Cadillac. And again, just like it is in the Cadillac, there is a touchpad or controls for using it on the center console here. Beyond that, this console is pretty minimalist. Cup holders, storage here with a wireless charging pad, and then center console storage box with not a whole lot of space, honestly. Steering wheel isn't as reliant on black plastic as it is in the Cadillac, so you've got shiny plastic here. It's still plastic, but it's at least a little shinier, and then surrounding the steering wheel is this chrome finish. Yeah, it's still plastic, but a little bit nicer, again, than what you get in the Cadillac. And then the paddle shifters here are still just a regular black plastic, but worth noting is that in the Cadillac, the plus and minus symbols are just printed on in white ink or whatever. In this vehicle, they're actually little chrome pieces themselves, so like I can feel them there, so that feels a little bit nicer. Around the rest of the interior, you've got red leather. Let's see, so this is slightly nicer than what's in the Cadillac. The A220 is the entry-level Mercedes-Benz. In a perfect world, the CT4 would compete with the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, and then Cadillac doesn't really build anything that would compete with the A-Class here. This is a subcompact. CT4 there is a compact sedan. Anyway, though, the materials here, this isn't really soft, but it's at least attempts to be soft. Mercedes-Benz has voice control that answers anytime I say the brand name out loud. But anyway, this isn't extremely soft. You can press on it there. The material feels a little bit nicer than what's in the Cadillac, but it's not exactly like gushy here. You can feel the hard surface underneath there. And then same with this panel. It's a little bit more cushioned than up here, but it's still not the squishiest panel. Down here, yeah, a little more padding, but you can get down to the plastic fairly quickly. Yeah, this is pretty nicely padded. And then, I'll point out, this one does come with a sunroof. And sunroof is something that adds a fair amount of cost to a vehicle. So the fact that this vehicle has one, whereas that CT4 in particular does not, that's a value add for the A220 for sure. Jeez, pretty tight back here too. So I looked up dimensions for the CT4 and the A220. CT4 offers 33.4 inches of second row legroom. A220 here actually supposedly has 33.9. And yeah, already I've got more knee room. Now, it's not exactly cavernous back here, but yeah, I can't say I'd be any less comfortable in this vehicle than I would the CT4. And this vehicle, by definition, competes in a smaller class than the CT4. Back here, you've also got more of those aviation-inspired air vents. No LEDs in these ones, and they use a shiny black plastic rather than the chrome in the ones up front. On the door panel, oh, these are kind of cool. So the handle here sticks out pretty far from the door panel. And then, yeah, window controls, lock controls, light, and like I said, pretty big sunroof. Not a lot of room for the feet down there. That's worth pointing out. You get more foot space in the CT4 than you do this vehicle. So there's just a real brief overview of the differences between modern day Cadillac interiors and modern day Mercedes-Benz interiors. These vehicles are priced very similarly. With CT4 you get more power, slightly more room, and just an overall bigger vehicle. With the A220 you get a more modern setup, sharper exterior styling, sharper interior styling, and that additional cachet that comes with the Mercedes-Benz badge on the hood. So which one is right for you? I don't know. You decide.